Hi and welcome back to my channel. What you see in front of you is a coloring book and it's Maria Trolle's Droomreis. No, it's not going to be a flip through. This is not a haul video or a sharing video along that line. This is going to be my first color and chat. I'm only going to do this for about 15 minutes simply so that I can just get my feet wet a little bit. Before I show you what page I've chosen in this book, and I took the post-it out so I will have to flip through to find the pages, I want to tell you a little bit about myself because currently my channel is called Robin Loves Reading because I am a reader first and foremost. That is my backdrop of being, or that is my background of being my favorite and lifelong activity. And I designed this channel simply as an extension to my blog. But about a year or so ago, I did a few other things on the channel. I did some planning videos. I've done hauling videos. I have done a couple of flip throughs of coloring books. So the channel is evolving, and it's evolving even more right now because I just got my video camera yesterday and I bought a webcam. It's a Logitech C920. I bought it because I decided that in addition to doing book reviews on this channel, I wanted to do other things as well. And as I look for the page, okay, good. I had the book open enough so it opened right to the page that I want to do. As I got, let me see if I can, yeah, make it a little closer up. Okay. A little bit about me and coloring. Now, a lot of my subscribers are from the coloring community, so you know that I've been around for a while. So basically, I started coloring 6 or 7 years ago, and it was during a time when my depression was at an all-time high. So I picked up some coloring pages and some cheap pencils, and I just started coloring. And a lot of those pages were from Dover, because Dover has free coloring pages every month, so I would download pages and color them. And let me tell you, I kept those pages on my hard drives or in my albums on my devices, and it does look like a kindergartner or a first grader did them. Like, for example, I wanted to do a background, so I scribbled a background, not colored in, not drew in, but scribbled. But hey, it was my baptism into a hobby that I end up really enjoying. In those few years that I was coloring, I colored over 900 pictures, and probably 98% of them are on Pinterest under Robin Loves Reading under the name of the artist. Every single picture other than what I've colored this past week and a half to 2 weeks. So it's like I said, it's about 900 pictures. I started off with Dover and with Creative Heaven. No, Dover and Creative Haven, and then I moved on to Pam Smart's, which is Color Me Your Way, and then I moved on further to Kendall Bone because I like patterns and paisleys and tessellations and 3D pictures. I have maybe 20 to 30 of Kendall Bone's books, and I did that for about a year. And I hadn't really gotten too introduced to line art other than the few Dover pictures I downloaded. And then I started buying books like Erie's books and the Romantic Country books. And but actually before the Romantic Country books, I bought some of the Johanna Basford early books. And then my collection started to grow and my attention started to point more towards line art like this. And that's what I did for years. I loved it, but I have to be honest, I fell into a bad situation with a lot of drama, and that instigated a massive depression to the point where I did not want to pick up a coloring pencil, a marker, crayon, nothing. I just didn't. I get triggered because of having bipolar disorder, and it was literally like a switch in my brain, and I could no longer color. Now, I did color maybe a year or so ago. I did a color along, and I don't even remember what picture I did, and I think it came out really good, but I didn't color again for another year. And then a couple of my friends, most notably Kim, asked me to do some color alongs, and I think Kim, Jess, who was Color Me a Pink Monkey, the three of us did a color along, and the quality of those pictures is probably a C minus or even a D, but I did them anyway. And then I moved on and I did a Kirby Rosanna's picture from Worlds Within Worlds, and I felt my confidence came back up. It came back. So now I had the idea to get a webcam and to bring other things into my Robin Loves Reading channel. This channel, which the channel name may change, I'll consider that if I'm successful with this, but it was here as an extension to my blog. The blog is great. I love blogging, and it's right when my confidence fell with the coloring community and some of the issues that ensued from that, my confidence skyrocketed with reading and blogging and book reviewing, to the point where I get between 10,000 and 11,000 views a month, every month consistently. I went from getting 500 views a month to 2,000 to 4,000. It jumped up to 8,000, and now it's getting close to 11,000 every single month. So that's where it's at for me. That's my niche in this world. If I have one other than faith and family, reading is what I'm good at, and writing about what I read is what I excel at. But I wanted to do more. I want to work on my jigsaw puzzles and chat with you folks. I want to color and chat. I want to do diamond painting unboxings and chat while I diamond paint. I even have considered live streaming, very seriously considered live streaming. So this channel is going to grow. So I thought, okay, I said I was only going to do a 15-minute video to test the waters, but now I've been talking for 7 minutes. So the first thing I want to do is just basically maybe do the floor, the porch, I guess it's a porch floor, in this Droomreis picture. And this Droomreis picture is, I'm just grabbing a water brush. This Droomreis picture is a color and chat, excuse me, a color along with Jess, excuse me again, Color Me a Pink Monkey. I wanted us both to pick a couple of pictures because I'm really lousy at choosing pictures. But the purpose of this color along is to equate ourselves, to familiarize ourselves with water soluble crayons. I have Neocolor tools, and I think she has some Neocolors, but she also has some Lyra Aquarelle or something along that line. So we're going to do this page. Now, I have my Neocolors to my left, but to my right I have some coloring pencils that I pre-selected because I don't know anything about working with Neocolors, and in case I need to add a layer on top of the Neocolors, I got some colors ready. So that's everything I wanted to say about that. I did not get a matching color for this pencil, this Crimson Alzarian Red for the Neocolor tools. So maybe today I will just do the floor and maybe one of the flowers, but we'll see. So I know there's, I think there's 3 ways that I know of to use Neocolor tools. One is you color directly on the page, and then you go over it with a paintbrush or water brush. Another is you use a paintbrush or water brush, and I don't like that happened. And you go to the end and then you transfer it, or you can even use something like this, which I need to erase that off, but you can say scribble on some kind of surface like this and pick up and transfer the color. So the method I'm going to use, since this is a broader image as far as the floor, is I'm just going to lay down this color for the porch floor and try to make it so that you can see what I'm doing and experiment. Now when it comes to the leaves and the flowers and the dog, I think I most definitely will be just using pencils, because they're much smaller, and I don't wield a brush well. I am not very talented with watercoloring, or obviously you see I don't, while I'm trying to remain in frame, I'm having difficulty on how to manage my book. But remember, this is simply a test. If it bombs, if I bomb with this, you won't see me doing this again. And if it does work, you'll see me maybe work to complete this image in other images going forward. Now, let me tell you something about my life. Okay, I'm a married woman. I've been married almost 39 years. March 20th is my anniversary. And I met my husband when I was 18 years old, and we dated on and off, but then we got married when I was 21 and he was 28. So that makes him a senior citizen, but it makes me pretty much a senior citizen as well, because I will be 60 years old. You know what? I don't think I need to color like this with Neocolor tools, but I don't know what I'm doing, and feel free to say something in the comments, or just let me fail and try this and see how it goes. So why don't I just stop there on that part of the floor. So anyway, so I've been married for a very long time. Let's see, my brush, okay, it does have some liquid on it. I've been married for a very long time, and let me tell you about my family before I tell you what I was about to say. Is my mom had 6 kids. I have 1 brother and 4 sisters. I almost said 5 because I have a stepsister who I don't really refer to her as my sister. I don't refer to her as my stepsister. I refer to her as my sister. But my mom had 6 kids, and I grew up watching the Brady Bunch. So between the fact that my mother had 6 kids and the Brady Bunch had 6 kids, I decided at a young age that I would have 6 kids. Well, I married a guy who did not want any kids, but guess what? We had 6 kids. And I think we thought about that over and over again, like, how in the heck did this happen? Obviously, we know how it happened, but, we had 6 kids. And what we had is just like the Brady Bunch, we had 3 girls and 3 boys. And the first 4 kids were 5 years apart. So I had my oldest daughter, and then 4 months later, I found out that I was pregnant with my second child. So my oldest daughter and my oldest son are exactly not quite exactly, but a little under 13 months apart. She was born on May 11th, and he was born on May 31st, so that makes them almost 13 months apart. At the time, I was still breastfeeding her, so I breastfed them both until she was weaned, and I continued to breastfeed him. And then 2 years later, I had my son Alan, and then 2 years after that, I had my son Aaron. And by that time, Adriana, who was my oldest, was 5. So we had 4 kids in 5 years, and I was the happiest person that could ever walk on planet Earth, because I absolutely adore children. I just have a strong love for children. And so I was happy. My husband and I, we had a lot of problems. We are having a lot of problems, and we probably always will have a lot of problems. But I still was very happy to be a mom. I loved it. And then all this time, I'm coloring on the dog, which is a shame because I have a color in mind for the dog, and it's not red, but I just have to be a little bit more careful. Now, by the way, I have a number of brush pens, but I thought this tip would be good enough, so I just try to be a little bit more careful. So anyway, we lived in Chicago at the time, and we decided to visit my family in Boston. I hadn't been back to Boston in maybe 20 years. I grew up in Boston, and my mom moved around quite a bit, and I ended up in Chicago where I lived, got married, and had 4 of my children. Well, we got to Boston, and we got to be around my sisters and my stepfather and my niece and nephew, and I just did not want to go back to Chicago. Something bad and tragic had happened in Chicago, and after I got to the loving arms of my family, I said to Tony, I don't want to go home. And, lovingly he agreed. So what we did is he left. He took a bus back to Chicago and left me with the car. And he packed everything up, got a U-Haul, and drove back to Boston. And we've been here ever since. So we settled in a town called Brockton, which is about 30 miles south of Boston. And we lived there for close to 30 years. And when my son Aaron was about 4, I got pregnant with my 5th child, Ariana. And then 3.5 years later, I got pregnant with our last child, Alexis. So all my kids are named A. All 6 kids' name begin with the letter A. And so that's a little bit about my family. And then I turned around and let some years pass, and then these beautiful children that I have started blessing my husband and I with the most gorgeous, loving, intelligent, beautiful grandchildren. And so now, as of yesterday, we had our 10th grandchild, and she came into the world on October 8th at 1 a.m. Her due date was October 7th, so she came pretty much in right on time. So this is as far as I am going to go on this part of the picture. I am so glad I chose this color because I don't think I'm going to go over it with pencil. I want to see how it dries. I do see some splotchiness right here, and I see that you can see it too. But I did watch a few videos, and I know that once it dries, I can go over it again. So I'm going to let it dry, go over it again with the Neocolor tools, and if the splotchiness continues, I will use one of my many pencil sets and go over it with pencil. So this was nothing but a test video to see if you guys would like me to do this on this channel among other activities I have in mind. And let me know in the comments below if you think this appeals to you, and if you feel my conversational quality is decent enough and clear enough, and I won't say interesting enough because some people don't even like kids, but hey, it was the first thing I thought to talk about. So I'm going to end this video here, and I will upload it, and we'll see what happens. Love you, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.